अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि। ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So first of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for being here on this wonderful day. We are celebrating the flower festival. And this is our yearly offering to the deities in remembrance of their appearance. I'll narrate a very interesting story of a little girl from India whose name is Manjula. Has anyone ever heard about Manjula? Who else? Okay. So, you can let me know if it's the same Manjula afterwards. Right? So there was a little girl growing up. She was very much attracted to serving the deity of the Lord. She was about 6 or 7 years old. And when this particular incidents in her life happened. So she would collect flowers and she would make a garland out of those flowers and she would offer it to the deity. And should give it to the chief priest, and the chief priest would serve the deity, serve the garland to the deity. This was a offering every single day. Due to certain reasons, and she would bring the garland later in the day. So one day, due to certain reasons, she was late in coming to the temple. By then the The temple doors had closed, the altar doors were closed, and the chief priest was on his way out. She comes with her garland and she says, I brought the garland. So the priest says that the Lord is taking rest, so today we will not need your garland. We do not have any need for your garland. She starts crying, feeling bad. Little girl, simple-hearted, very much desirous that whatever the garland that she makes, we offer to the Lord. So she couldn't go back home. The priest leaves. He has other duties to perform. So she sits outside the temple, outside the temple complex, but within the temple premises. And she's crying. So one saintly personality who also would come and offer services to the deity or would come for seeing the form of the deity is moved seeing this little girl in tears. He asks her, she tells him what is the issue. He says, it's all right, don't worry. Like any adult would do. We don't want to see young children cry. We want to see them always happy. Most adults. Isn't it? Unless until they may be having an adult body, but if their mentality is still of a kid, sometimes they are little kids and they are adult kids. So that is when they may not understand how important it is to see little children be happy. So a normal adult and the saint, he tells her, it's all right, don't worry. You can just offer the garland to the Lord in your mind and the Lord will accept it. Well, in that case, then, the girl, she feels it in her childlike understanding, she feels that the deity is a person. So when she makes an offering of the garden, then the Lord accepts it. So she's like, how is that possible? How can I do it within my mind? She says, no, it's possible. She tries to offer the garden to the Lord in her mind. For a moment, she closes her eyes and tries to do that, and then she opens her eyes and she says, no, it doesn't work. The garland is still in my hands. That's not possible. So he says, no, the garland will still stay in your hands, but if you offer it to the Lord will accept it. How do I understand this? I don't understand what you're saying. So the priest says, all right, why don't you offer this garland, put it on the branch of this banyan tree here, and the Lord will accept it. She says, how is that possible? So he tells her that, have you seen your elders, your mother or your elderly ladies come to a banyan tree and go around a tree, worshipping the tree? She says, yes, I've seen that. So do you know why? Because the Supreme Lord is manifest within the banyan tree. And it is true because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that amongst non-moving things or amongst the trees, he is the banyan tree, he is the Ashwatha. Yes. So she trusts in him. Oh, if the Lord is manifest here, so yeah, I can offer the garland to the Lord. So she does that. So this story is from many centuries ago. So there are various different ways that the story is narrated. So most popular narration is that she put the garland on one of the branch that was closest to her. She puts it there. There are certain renditions, certain narrations that say that she put it around a stone at the base of the banyan tree. Anyway, she offered the garland there. So, the next time the priest comes to serve the deity and offer fresh garlands to the deity, the priest is trying to take off that which has already been offered for that day. So he's trying to take off the garlands that have already been offered. So as he's removing those garlands, there's one garland that he is not able to take off the deity. It wouldn't come off. If you try to remove it, it wouldn't come off. The priest is surprised. Now this is a big problem because you have to offer fresh garlands to the deity. For that, you have to remove the garlands that have already been offered. So this is crisis, big crisis. So they have a meeting of all the priests and what should we do? And they're like, oh, let us also confirm that this is what is happening. So they also come in. They try to remove the garland. So then they call for the saintly personality because they are very well respected in the community. You've heard this story before? Have you heard of a saint by the name of Puntana? So this is the saint. Yes? So the saint comes, Puntanamji comes there. And he recognizes the garland and he's like, oh, this is amazing. So he says, my dear Lord, this is Manjula's garland and now we need to serve you. So please, let us take off that garland. And then he asks the priest that please remove the garland, and the priest is able to remove the garland. He removes the garland of the Lord's transcendental form. And everyone is surprised. Everyone wants to know what is this story behind Manjula's garland. So they get to hear the story. And since then, she would always be able to offer her garland to the priest because the priest was very, very careful to accept it. He did not want a similar crisis to arise again. Thus, it shows the simplicity of the Lord's reciprocal love and affection for his devotee. Many times we speak about how a devotee is very simple-hearted. We speak about how simple services are when offered to the Lord, and the Lord is pleased if it is in the mode of service. We should also try and meditate on how easygoing the Lord himself is. I mean, he could have airs about him, you know. Why would I accept a garland that is not to be? It's so simple to approach. It's so simple to serve. And that is how a devotee feels attracted to the Lord. Because a devotee feels that if there is anyone who's the most easily approachable, then that is the Lord. And You could call it faith, you could call it belief. For a devotee, that is realization. It is someone who can be very easily pleased, the most easily pleased, the most easy to approach, the most accessible, then it is a Supreme Lord. And this is because he has a very easygoing personality. The Lord himself is very simple-hearted. He doesn't have any air of superiority around himself or about himself. It's difficult for him to do that. And the reason is, he is Prema Swarup, he is love personified. And love does not have the ability to express feelings of superiority. That is the nature of love. Love cannot be demanding. The nature of love is not to feel jealous. The nature of love is not to discriminate. So the Supreme Lord is the reservoir of pleasure, the reservoir of love. This is all attractive. Krishna. Sarva Akarshiti iti Krishna. All attractive. And who's the Supreme Lord? The deity that we are speaking of? So many thousands of years ago, Vasudeva and Devaki, members of the princely class, Devaki was a princess, Vasudeva was a prince, they were husband and wife. They had the desire to have a son who is the Supreme Lord himself. And the books tell us, the scriptures tell us that this desire of theirs was from a previous age. From that back, before Vasudeva and Devaki's time, Sutapa and Prishni were two personalities. They were a couple, husband and wife. They went to do a lot of austerities in the mountains that are revered as holy mountains called the Himalayas. To pray for the Supreme Lord to be visible to them. So the Lord appeared in his divine form. He said, yes, I grant you boons. So they said, we want you to be our son, we want you to be our son, we want you to be our son. He says, all right, since you asked 3 times, I'll be your son in 3 different births. So he became their son as Prishni Garba, the son of Sutapa and Prishni. Then he was their son as Vamana, where they had taken birth as Kashyap and Aditi. And he became their son as Krishna, where they were Vasudeva and Devaki. The appearance of Krishna is a very well remembered history, especially amongst Vedic scholars and Vedic followers. Devaki's cousin, whose name was Kansa, as the prince, he had usurped the throne of his father and had become a king. So King Kamsa. From iCloud, he received a message on his iPhone that the eighth son of Devaki would be the cause of her death. He was an intelligent person. He realized that this is no scam. So he tried to kill Devaki. Vasudeva negotiated with him. Parley. Said, I will give you all of any children that are born, and you decide what you have to do with them. Devaki is not, she is not going to be the reason to harm you. The voice in the sky said that her son would be the person that would harm you. So I will give you all our children. So he said, okay, that's fine with me. So the eighth child was Krishna. How did he appear? He appeared as a little baby. But before that, he appeared in his four-handed form as a Supreme Lord. So when Devaki saw him as this really powerful, with this powerful appearance of the Lord, she was moved by her motherly affection to be overly protective of the Lord. Mothers are like that. They become overly protective of their children. So she is like, if you stay in this form, then Kamsa will come and harm you. So you please change your form. She was thinking that if he appears like this before Kamsa, then Kamsa would immediately challenge him. But if he appears as an innocent, harmless baby, then maybe it will melt Kamsa's heart. So she asked him to transform his form into the form of a little baby. So the Lord did that. Now, he gets transported to another place. Or Vasudeva carries him off to another place across the river Yamuna. However, the 400 form that they had seen stays in their minds. When Sutapa and Krishna had the beautiful form of the Lord revealed to them, the Lord had also given them a deity to serve. This deity was manifesting the 400 form of Lord Narayan. So when Sutapa and Prishni, they got that deity and they served the deity, so they passed it on. And somehow, over generations or over time, the deity came down to this dynasty of princes, the Yadu dynasty, where Vasudeva was a prince. So Devaki and Vasudeva had that deity and they would worship the deity. So when they saw the 400 form, this form was exactly the same form as the deity. Now, over so many generations and over so many centuries, this particular deity found its way to the temple where Manjula would offer flowers. In the place, a very holy place called as Guruvayur. And people started revering this deity as their caretaker, a very respectable personality, and also like a child form of the Lord. So he is offered respects as Guru Vairappa. Next time, if you visit India and you go to South India, Kerala, you could visit this place. And you could also sit under that tree which is called the Manjula tree, just Manjula. The tree is still there. That's properly taken care of and worshipped too. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one could simply please him by an offering of love. So how does one express one's love? Through one's senses. What does one do with this? What are the senses? Eyes, ears, mouth, the nose, and the body, the skin. These are the senses. So how do we use the senses to express the affection in our heart? By doing things. Either we speak, or we listen, or we see, or we bring forth some creations, creative things, and we make an offering of it. So Krishna says that he is very happy to accept our offerings of love. What kind of offerings? How do we express these offerings, my dear Lord? So he says, well, if you want to express it in the form of physical things, then it could either be a fruit, a flower, some water, or a leaf too. Why is that? Because even if a person is really invalid, if a person has physical disabilities, if a person is very little small, needs assistance, you could still, these are certain items, physical items, that can be offered easily to the Lord. What to speak of how easily they are available everywhere. So the Lord is saying that I have a lot of possessions. And some of my dearmost connections are you, the living entity. Very dear to me. So if you want to express your affection towards me, and if you want to make an offering, then you could use any of these things. However, if you're trying to make a show of it, then in that case, that is not healthy for you. So in that case, whatever you have to offer it to me. So either you make an offering of love with sincerity, like complete sincerity, then even a leaf, a fruit, or a flower, or some drops of water is sufficient. However, if you want to make a show of it, you want to show off, you want to, get some returns for what offering you are making, then you must offer all that you have unto me. Because when you offer all that you have unto me, then now you're left with just your emotions, or you're left with just your intent. And once one is free of all that makes us vain and proud, then it is easier to express our intent in humility. So, patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayashyati. Patram, leaf, fruit, flower, or water. Otherwise, yat karoshi, yat ashnashi, yat chuhoshi, tadasi. Yat tapasyasi tukantya, tat karoshu madharanam. So, what is much more comfortable? An intelligent person would understand that it's more practical to have sincerity in one's offering rather than be in search of some vanity or pride. So therefore, an intelligent person offers sincere service to the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that Krishna and Balaram would wake up early in the morning as 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 6-year or 7-year-olds, 5+. And they would play on their buffalo horns. That was to let all of their friends know that it is time to move out of their homes and go where? Go to the pasturing grounds, into the forests. So they would sound their buffalo horns. The friends would reciprocate. So the whole village would resonate with the sound of this beautiful and melodious sound of these horns. And then all the cowherd boys would come to the meeting place. They would gather there and they would come along with their calves. And they would move into the forest. So before they could do this, every single mother would want their child to look the best. So they would have their attires, they would have their decorations, everything. And these children would be so colorful coming out of their homes and meeting at this meeting place. And from there, they would go into the pasturing grounds, hand in hand, walking together. As soon as they would be out of sight, the Srimad Bhagavatam says, as soon as they would be out of sight means as soon as they would feel that the elders in the village are no longer able to see their forms. Despite the fact that they were having so many decorations on their body, they would pick up the forest minerals and just start applying it and on each other's forms and decorate each other. They would pick off flowers and twigs and leaves, and with that decorate each other. They love to do that. And once I was in Vrindavan, so one of the saintly personalities there said that actually what they would do is they would take off all of their ornaments that their mothers had put on them, because they would like, this is too heavy, this is too much. They put it aside and decorate themselves with the forest wares, whatever was available in the forest. The forest deities or the forest personalities, the trees, the twigs, the flowers, the rivers, the streams, the birds and the beasts of the forest would be so happy because they were praying day in and day out that how would we be able to serve Krishna? So Krishna, along with his friends, made himself available to receive their service. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabhunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Kaurayodaya. The desire and ability to serve Krishna is ingrained in every living entity. In fact, every living entity is made up of the substance called as Krishna Seva, service unto Krishna. However, one has been covered by a layer of ignorance, and this layer of ignorance is thick enough to prevent that light, that effulgence of the potential to serve Krishna from being seen. So by practice, we remove these coverings, the layer of ignorance, through constant reminders that we have to serve, we must serve, we will be happy by service, by doing service. The layer is gone, and then this Shuddha Chitte Karoyodaya. So when we hear that there's a facility to serve Krishna, the opportunity is there. And this is where I have to stop because the opportunity has come to serve Krishna. So the entire presentation was to lead up to this abrupt ending. And somehow, it's a very good coincidence that the curtain opened up when I made that statement. So the potential is there, and we'll see that being revealed today. We'd like to request all of you to remember the efforts that so many devotees have put. Hours and hours and hours of hard work. Devotees and those who have cultivated those flowers, so many other living entities. Their hard work is now, it has afforded us this opportunity to see this wonderful festival where we serve Krishna. So we would like to stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.